Dear colleagues, we continue our working day, and we are giving the floor to the spokesperson of Presidential Administration on ATO related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Yesterday, on December 23rd, the trilateral contract group in Minsk have reached the agreements on establishing the ceasefire regime from midnight this day. However, illegal military formations have already violated the agreements from the start of the day. 7 ceasefire violations were registered. Militants fired on our positions in all directions. In particular, the militants used multiple launch rocket systems to the south of Popasna. In Lugansk direction, yesterday, 2 ceasefire violations were registered on the part of illegal military formations in Shasy and Krymsky. In both cases, the enemy used small arms. In Shastya, the ATO troops opened fire in response, and they forced the militants to stop shelling. In Donetsk direction, in Svetlodarsk salient, close to the village of Lugansk, near Gorlivka agglomeration and Donetsk airport, the military hostilities of low intensity took place. Usually the militants are more active in the second half of the day, and they conduct non-precision fire on our positions. The highest number of shellings traditionally was registered in Lugansk, Zaytsevo, Novgorodsk, and Piski. At the same time, yesterday in the Donetsk direction, no heavy weapons were used by illegal military formations. In Mariupol direction, a series of hostile shellings were registered in Krasnogorivka and Marienka. The small arms were used, and the fire was aiming. At the same time, several grenade launch challenges were also registered. In Talakivka, there was a clash between ATO forces and occupants, and we should also note that not only Ukrainian military men but also civil citizens are affected by fire. Yesterday, the hostile sniper fired into the chest of a civil citizen in Marienka. The man was delivered to the hospital in Kurakhova. Yesterday, the militants also occupied the Kominternovo village in Novozovsk district of Donetsk region. According to the operative information, the company tactic team of the enemy under the cover of armored machinery captured the village. The militants conduct the searches in the houses of local residents and establish their firing points there. Ukrainian headquarters informed about the incidents. The OSCE and the SCCC. However, OSCE monitors failed to get there due to safety considerations. During the previous day, there were no deaths among Ukrainian military men. 2 military men were wounded. Russia continues to hide their role in the conflict on the the east of Ukraine, according to the information of headquarters of reconnaissance service of Russia. The commander of so-called 3rd Brigade of DPR military formation located in the occupied Horlivka. The access to international OSCE monitors was banned.
The Ukrainian intelligence confirms that yesterday in Shakhtarsk, the car of so-called prosecutor of Yanakeva was shot at, which means that the internal quarrels between militants continue. The Western anti-Putin coalition continues to exercise pressure on the state aggressor. Only 2 days after the extension of the EU sanctions against Russia, the government of the USA introduced new sanctions against people and companies that implement aggressive policy against Ukraine. The list includes 2 senior civil servants of Yanukovych regime, separatists from the Donbas, top managers of Russian defense companies. The companies which fell under sanctions are the subsidiaries of Russian banks, companies of Crimean offshores related to Russian business. The militants, among the militants, there are more of those who want to go back home. The member of the DPR band returned to his family, enjoying the program of Security Service of Ukraine. You are waited for at home. In autumn 2014, he was patrolling the streets of Donetsk and the checkpoints. Despite the permanent anti-Ukrainian propaganda, this man decided to go back home. Today he's at home with his parents and is waiting till the criminal responsibility will be taken off from him. Now the video of this former militant. I was fighting against my people. The commander who is working under Russian special services, they understand it. The authorities of DPR and LPR, well, the people, they want to get home. I wanted to go back home, but I was afraid. I was told that in Ukraine there are the list of people who should be killed. But then in the internet I found the website, I want to go back home. And now I'm at home. And I know that some other former militants also fell under amnesty when they came back home. I looked at the interview, watched the interview with them, and they made the decision to do the same. I wrote a request via internet, and I got a confirmation that they are ready to meet me. I was met at the contact line, and now I'm in Slavyansk. Thank you. Ukrainian law enforcers continue to neutralize militants, the members of DPR. The member of DPR was detained in village Bogorodichne in Donetsk region. In spring 2014, he entered, joined the militants, and he was, after liberation of the city, this person was hiding, that he was working with militants, and several times he was changing his place of residence. It did not help. In Slavyansk, another militant was detained who was helping the illegal criminal groups to occupy the city and was on duty checkpoints after the liberation of the city. He was trying to hide that he is part of militants, but was detained by Ukrainian law enforcers. Ukrainian servicemen continue to supply humanitarian assistance to villages and towns at the contact line. The officers of the group of civil military cooperation, together with UN mission, delivered 40 tons of coal, food products to the citizens of Opitne village, which is close to Donetsk airport. Also, military, together with civilians, continued to repair gas pipeline within Opitne. The gifts from Kharkiv volunteers were also delivered to the dogs that are serving. Among all these assistance, there are vitamins, medicines, as well as dog collars. In Lugansk border team, there are 30 inspector kinologists with the dogs that help to detect almost 30 units of armaments, more than 20,000 of ammunition, and more than 11 kilograms of explosives. The volunteers of Ternopil region delivered 5.5 tons of products, and also the military received fresh fruit and vegetables from volunteers, donors in Sumsk region. Any questions, any clarifications? Once you have no questions or clarifications, thank you, Andriy. Our next